Part three. So we get to the hospital, and at the hospital, they put me back in the bubble. They give me a catheter. They run a lot of tests, blood work. They really searching for the problem. What exactly happened that resulted in me going partially paralyzed, meaning one of my legs worked, but the other side did not work. And this is waist down. The bubble is what told them what was wrong with me. So once they figure out what's wrong with me, they don't immediately tell me what's wrong with me. They have already contacted the specialist, and they're going to let him tell me what's wrong with me. Now, mammy, I'm looped. Like, I'm so full of morphine and pain meds that I don't even know what's going on for real, for real. My wife's with me. We really didn't have no family in Houston, Texas. But I had an uncle in Dallas, Texas. In the span of 2013 to 2020, I lost 5 people I was close to. I lost my granddaughter. I lost my favorite niece. I lost my uncle. I lost my nephew. My close friend lost her son, which is like my nephew. I lost my best friend Stacy. Like, I just lost so many people back to back that I had also sunk into grief depression. And what grief depression does is the same thing as depression does, really. But all your emotions and your feelings are triggered around the thought you have lost. Okay. So as we move on in the journey and we waiting for the specialist, they tell me I'm staying. They prepare a room for me, but it wasn't a regular room. It was ICU. And I'm in Methodist Sugarland, Texas. So I'm just like, I see you, like, but I'm so full of the medicine that I really, can't articulate what it is I'm saying. So now my wife, she a nervous wreck. The thing about me and her, our connection is a soul tie. And I don't know if you know what a soul tie does, but what a soul tie essentially does is whatever I go through physically, she gonna go through. If she go through, I'm gonna go through. We so connected that thoughts and emotions align. Soul ties are not good at all. Like, even though I'm married, I'm not proud of the fact that we got a soul tie. So she a nervous wreck. So she calling back my home. Kids, my mom. She just calling everybody, telling them what's wrong with us. Well, me. So as we back there, and they prepared me to go to my room. Right before my room got ready, in walked this man, Dr. Bedros. Give me a second. Something about the anointing of God, no matter what field you in, when it's present, there's no denying. There's just no denying. Christian people who hear this, they go know that look, that feel, that spirituality that's on a person. When you encounter them and you know that they blessed by God. So when Dr. Beatrice approached me, he, hey, how you doing? He's very pleasant. When he say that his specialty is spinal cord, I instantly knew something was wrong in my back that caused me to be partially paralyzed because I hadn't been shot. I hadn't been in a car accident. And being that I have some career history in healthcare, I knew that the paralyzation had to have something to do with my spinal cord and, of course, my brain. So he asked me the infamous question, have I ever had an encounter with cancer? And I go, yeah. And I tell him the cervical cancer. I tell him about the neurologist. I got back home. I tell him the history of my seizures. And we talk briefly. And he says, you're going to need surgery. And you're going to need surgery right away. And after your surgery, you're going to intensive care because you have an erupted tumor in your spinal cord. And I'm thinking, oh my God, not again. Like, I had an erupted tumor in my cervix. Now I have one in my spinal cord. Like, what does this mean? So I'm crying. And as I'm crying, he explaining to me the probability of things that could go wrong, the probability of me walking again, changes that can occur in my life. The fact that he had to remove my fifth and my fourth vertebrae from my spinal cord. And so I accept my news, I accept my news. I mean, what can I do besides accept my news? And in accepting my news, he said very calmly with a smile, I want you to rest overnight. I'm going to get in contact with your neurologist back home because they have more history with you than your neurologist here. And we're going to prepare to take you into surgery first thing tomorrow morning. So I woke up the very next morning and my cell phone was ringing. It was back home. It was my mom. It was my children. And it was my neurologist, Dr. Mohan. And he asked me how I was feeling. He asked me what was I expecting the outcome to look like from the surgery. And I told him I really don't know. I said I'm scared because this time I knew it was real. I knew it was serious. And I knew that the doctors in Texas really didn't know me. So I knew that it was the likelihood that if I had seizures while I was under the anesthesia, that I might lose my faith. And that's what I articulated to him. And he explained to me he was on his way.